afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propaganda Review with me, your host, Imperial Dane. A master of reviews we're here to cover today. Battlefield 1 recently released. Out for PC and a bunch of consoles that don't know so much about that. Basically, Battlefield 1 set in World War 1. How does it stack up? Basically, it's just every other Battlefield game in a sense, except I'd probably describe it as the next best thing after Battlefield Bad Company 2, which I still think is the best Battlefield game yet. Battlefield 3 and 4 basically being way too bloody sterile, and basically more like, some kid, who shows his toys but doesn't want you to play with it. Battlefield Bad Company, or Battlefield Bad 1, or Battlefield 1, actually want you to play with it. It adds some new modes, including something about pittance, which does make sense. It's at Operations mode. It's also got sort of a bit more of a campaign in a sense. Several mini campaigns, and that's also, I think, where sort of the game sort of shows it doesn't quite grasp the World War One bit. Basically, you get roughly 6 campaigns with sort of fancy names. So if I were to put together here, stuff happens. Basically, this one can best be described as Fury on steroids in World War One. Flying about, then mostly crashing into stuff. Cornet Space Marine fighting against the false Emperor's forces somehow in Italy because you're basically armored and wielding a machine gun. Old man dies for stupid kid, and we didn't know what to do, so we just used a multiplayer map for this, and that's also one of the things here. I mean, a lot of it feels rather padded. I mean, there's several sort of stealth sections, and some of the campaigns like this, and probably this one, for example, also highly utilized multiplayer maps as the content there for the single player map mission, so you'll just be playing through a single map there across several sort of chunks of it. This one, for example, is just one from the Austro-Italian multiplayer fight. In fact, it's the first bit you've seen in sort of the Austro-Italian sort of operations mode. That's that one, basically. So in that regard, a lot of them just feel tacked on with stealth sections because that's what Battlefield is known for, stealth. And that one is pretty much the one most baffling because that's pretty much just all the stealth except for one battle at the end, which still has stealth in it, by the way. And another issue with it is basically they're incredibly tone deaf. They sort of go to, war is bad, don't start wars, kids, especially world wars, for those are extra bad because this might come as a shock to you. People die. But at the same time, tonally, again, they're tone deaf because at the same time, you'll just be, again, wading through there like a goddamn space marine, knocking out more tanks that have probably been approaching there, including a lot of French tanks, which somehow end up in German hands. I don't know how. Knocking out a lot of tanks as well, including French tanks who have no idea how to end up in the, there with Lawrence of Arabia. Shooting down, Zeppelins. And again, just somehow making Gallipoli look less like a goddamn mess. Which is one of the issues. The other issue is basically you can only play as the Allies, meaning you still, for a game that sort of wants to make war senseless, still approaches a good and evil thing, where you basically got the Germans as the Nazis, and the Ottomans as, I suppose, the sand Nazis. They're pretty much the only ones sort of being shown as remotely human, as they actually get to see them as people, and they're pretty much just shown as evil bastards. To the point it doesn't even make sense. In fact, nothing is written, it's just flat out terrible. It doesn't really have much to do with the game, it's the most tone deaf of the campaigns. In fact, up there with the Lawrence of Arabia going, you know what? All these veterans have been working to death, let's just go blow up a battleship. That's be really cool. Wait, what? So in that regard, again, while the campaigns, some of them, most of them are actually quite fun to play. I mean, they are fun to play. They're completely tone deaf and completely miss the point. And rather feels like they'd rather want to do a World War II campaign because, especially, the Germans end up with a lot of armoured trucks, which might as well have been half-tracks. Well, fighting what might as well have been the bloody Waffen-SS, I suppose. And also they all end up with Danish light machine guns. I mean, it's a great light machine gun. It just doesn't make sense the Germans ended up with it. A lot of them, nor the Ottomans or the Austrians. So yeah, there are a lot of oddities, and this one again is just, war is bad, war is terrible, war is bad. Look at all of these people dying, war is bad, and of course again you get into all the action. It's completely utterly tone deaf fun, but completely fails at sort of depicting World War I in an intelligent manner, and again just appears, quite stupid. But again, it's fun. Similarly, with multiplayer, it sort of approaches World War I better since you sort of can get, both perspectives. You got the operations mode again, which I would probably highlight sort of the most fun bit. Basically sort of a series of missions chained together. For example, here, Kaiserschlag, Germans attack through 2 sectors. You get 3 waves. By the way, usually that's the key. You get 3 attacks. The attacker does. And if they actually know how to use it, they can sort of push through there. If the attack fails, there'll usually be some kind of, behemoth support. That's also one of the new things again, a Zeppelin, battleship, or big armored train, basically. Sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's one. The Zeppelin is probably the best of them, since that's one that floats above the battlefield, making it really, really difficult for the defender to move about there if the Zeppelin crew knows what it's doing. Another factor added in besides the behemoth is the elite classes, but they're about as elite as putting on your socks. That is, oh hey, I am now a guy in body armor with a machine gun walking about. I am very elite. They could have done something interesting with it, but they'd rather took the cheap route out. And overall, that's probably one of the issues. Again, as for World War One game, overall, Battlefield 1 failed pretty hard. Again, most of the chaps here, for example, are equipped, and you'll probably believe this, but not with any sort of, bolt action rods. In fact, that's probably the only sniper. That one's probably going to be most scoped. But it's largely, for example, we could just sort of have a look here. For the medic, it's largely the assortment of semi-automatic rifles, because that's what World War I is known for. Assault has shotguns, alright, but also a ton of submachine guns of all kinds, including this very, very rare Austrian Hellriegel, which you just can't find much on, but still there. Support gets light machine guns, fair enough, but even then, it's just, so much then. The Scout is the only one that gets bolt action rifles. It's kind of gets weird. Of course, you got the elite here with the machine gun. That is a German one again for everyone there. Anti-tank rifle guy and flamethrower guy. Cavalry, which is just, everybody can walk up and then they get a carbine and a saber and just go nuts. And the aircraft, you got a ton there going on. This one again, you got a lot of vehicles, and again, everybody gets whatever there is. So in that regard, it tends to get, a bit silly and a bit awkward very quickly. I mean, again, it's fun to play. I mean, trust me, it is fun. Again, it really, brings in some of the stuff that was good from Bad Company too, which again, more maps, you can actually stuff happening, less just, small alleys, more broad fields, flanking, maneuvering, all that good stuff. But again, as a World War One game, I'd have to describe Battlefield 1 kind of like, all of the attacks on the Isonzo River by the Italians, a failure. I mean, again, it really, at most, I mean, it looks superficially really nice, for World War One, but as soon as it just gets slightly below the surface, it's a complete mess. So again, I mean, to sum it up, while this is a good Battlefield game, again, it's the best one since Battlefield Bad Company 2, and that is praise, make no mistake. For a World War One game, it's not good. And for the single-player game, if you think about just getting the game for that, I would not recommend it. Again, it's clearly not where the primary effort has been, by the Battlefield team. I mean, these two sort of are the biggest ones. This one is probably the best one. This one has you just crashing into stuff if you're lucky. And the rest is just basically multiplayer content thrown in with a bit of other stuff there and then thrown at you. I mean, again, this one just really feels like padding so much. It just completely does not fit into the rest of the whole concept, to be honest. That one's just terrible. And again, this is probably one of the ones I saw the most, with that girl swing about her saber, the Bedouin girl, and then, surprise, surprise, it turns out to be a load of bollocks. I mean, again, this one, definitely the best of all the campaigns. And that was probably the one they should have probably worked more on, if anything, instead of just trying to do more, which ultimately fails because, they couldn't get around, doing a bloody Central Powers one. Which, of course, also brings up to the other issue, which is there's no French, no Russians. Those are going to be DLC. So they added the Italians and the Americans, but not the French or the Russians, who played probably a bigger part in the war. Nor is the German perspective, the Austro-Hungarian perspective, or the Ottoman perspective available. They again just reduced to Nazis and sand Nazis. So, yeah, again, as a World War One game, I describe this as a failure. As a multiplayer game, again, it's pretty fun. Again, Operation Mode really does add some fun. I probably say it's the best part of Battlefield 1. As long as you can get on a good team. Again, there are a lot of people right now who don't know how to play it. Particularly didn't know how to play medics, which is really important doing the attacker part. Then again, a lot of people don't revive. If you know how to revive, then you know how to get your taps to revive. I mean, you can actually do pretty well as an attacker. If no one knows how to revive as to medics, the attacker is screwed. And they'll complain, oh, this is OP, when in reality is they just need to flippin' revive with the syringe. Come on, people, it's not that hard. Take the syringe, stuff it into someone who's dead. There you go, Company Who's one medic job. So, again, overall good game. but I can't recommend it for the World War One bits, and I certainly can't recommend for the campaign. If you get it for multiplayer, want to play the campaign, great. But if you want to get the game exclusively for the campaign, no, I can't recommend it. You'd just be wasting your money. So there you go. Hopefully this has been an educational review, have been helpful in making your decision on whether to get the game or not. I've certainly been enjoying the multiplayer. I haven't had fun with one of those campaigns, but again, it was pretty much just going, good lord, who am I? British Michael Wittman or something? So thank you all, and hope to see you all another time. And of course, do let me know if you like this review and want to see more. Of course, I'll try my best. Might have one for Civilization coming up next. And of course, if you do like them, do consider supporting by subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting. And of course, donating, as of course that in part allows me to get more games to review for you chaps. So this is Imperial Dane signing off, and see you all another time. Cheers.